right, welcome to Let It Fly Show. I am Michael Severe, joined by Josh Jones, Creighton University, Jesuit Elementary School.
Yep.
And, of course, Central High School. Is that what is it called? Elementary? What do you guys call it?
It was Jesuit Middle School at that time.
Jesuit Middle.
Now it was just Jesuit Academy.
Academy, okay.
Yeah.
Because, growing up, I went to a Catholic school, and we go from kindergarten to 8th.
Yeah.
So we're a grammar school.
We go 4th to 8th.
Okay, they called it a grammar school. I went to St. Rita Elementary School, which is a grammar school which is kind of cool because once you start going to school, you go to school with the same people, and there's no breaking up to go to middle or junior high school, so it's pretty good. Welcome to the show. We are, of course, down in the Capital District at Let It Fly Sports Bar, one of 3 locations of Let It Fly. Now you have Let It Fly La Vista and Let It Fly West out there as well. And then, of course, the Capital District. And lots of great specials. As always, it is brought to you by Bud Light, making it easy. It's easy to enjoy and easy to drink. It's not easy, apparently, to gain 2 yards on third down. We have games going on around us, and that's the third time that Delaware State could not pick up a third down and 1. But we are, of course, preparing for an incredible week of football from Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. We will get into all of that. I want to tell you who our guest is this week.
Tell us. Creighton
Prep head football coach.
Wouldn't it be sick if Creighton had a football team?
And they did,
One game, though.
And they did. They had it in the 1910s and 1920s. If you ever go down to, have you been down to Burger Lust, Louis M's?
Nope. I just seen the football that they play with.
Louis M's Burger Lust, which is, down in South Omaha. They have a wall.
Oh, Louis M's. Yeah.
Louis M's. For they have it, and they have a wall that has like all the Creighton football stuff.
I know, man.
Kind of cool. But this is Creighton Prep head football coach Tim Johnk will join us, and we'll go over a huge game this week.
Yeah.
Friday night, as I mentioned, you've got Westside and Creighton Prep. That is the battle for the number 2 team in Class A, because Millard South is obviously the number 1 team. And they're really good. They're really good. We know that. But the number 2 team is going to be either Westside or Creighton Prep after this game, so it's going to be fun.
The best team ain't always going to win it all.
No, I agree with you. There's no one within 40 points of this team, though. I mean, it's sad. It's hard to watch, man.
So is football the same? Remember Kentucky, Anthony Davis, they were steamrolling people.
I remember. And the great thing about hockey.
Not Anthony Davis, the Harrison twins, sorry.
The great thing about hockey and the great thing about basketball is that in hockey, they say the goalie can stand on their head, right? They're saying that they're so good, they're basically standing on their head and the goal stopping you. In basketball, you can have a guy go off for 70.
Gotcha.
You could have Allen Iverson go off and win game 1, Lakers and Sixers.
Or Kobe 81.
You could go off, right? In football, there's too many guys.
Facts.
And when they have like 17 Division I players
I know, dog.
out of their starting 22, I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. You know what you need, though, and we'll talk about this with Coach Johnk. You got to have a team that can control the clock,
right?
That can run the ball, and keep the ball away from their high-powered offense.
Yeah.
And basically, that is what Creighton Prep does. And so they're kind of designed for it, but we'll chat about that. We'll get into that as well. I want to tell you about all the specials. You've got happy hour happening here from 3 to 6, and reverse happy hour from 10 to 1. Great drink specials, great food specials, and every day there is something special, including the day we tape, which is Dollar Wing Wednesday.
Yep.
Dollar Wing Wednesday. Taco Tuesday, got steaks on Thursday, you got something every single day of the week. Let's get to our headlines.
Yeah.
And we start with the big headline of the week. Penn State fires their head football coach.
Remember I talked about this.
James Franklin gets fired.
Yeah.
My boy James Franklin getting fired. I grew up a Penn State fan as a kid. My dad worked on campus. I've been a Penn State fan since 1977. I complained a lot about James Franklin over the years as a game day coach. But at the same time, I do appreciate that they won a bunch of games under him.
Yeah.
Now they got to go find a new coach. And the number 1 guy in the betting world and most of the mentions and most of the boards, they call them hot boards, is one Matt Rule.
Okay, so
the head coach of University of Nebraska. This is. I've said all along, I don't think he's going to Penn State. I don't think you're going home. I don't think you're doing any of that. I also don't think. I think again, as a Penn State fan, whoever they hire better be hiring a guy to win you a national championship.
Facts.
Penn State has not won a national championship. What year were you born?
89.
They've not won a national championship since 3 years before you were born.
Damn.
1986. So whoever they hire, has to be somebody that they think. Can bring them to a national championship.
So let me tell you something I thought was funny.
Okay.
I watched them ask Matt Rule that question.
Yeah. Sam.
It reminded me of a guy coming in late and giving this girl the long answer of why he come back home late to tell her. I mean, Are you leaving or are you staying?
He's got to balance it out.
And I read the comments.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know.
So you got one, remember this, that in life, everything is business.
Facts.
So first thing he's got to do is handle his business.
Yeah.
And if I got some leverage over you, I'm going to take advantage of it.
Gotcha.
So his leverage currently is, look, man, somebody wants me.
Yeah.
If you want to keep me, you got to put more money in this program.
Right. In order to be the man,
he mentioned their school spending $30 and $40 million on those rosters. Nebraska doesn't spend that much.
I know.
Know what he would like?
$30 or $40 million.
Exactly. And so he's using that leverage right now.
Bro.
So he's got to work it. He's got to work the plan.
But listen though. He's the most authentic guy to get the deal.
I think he is very authentic.
This, bro.
I think he is.
I don't think he's gonna bounce. I like how it's just like me. I love Creighton.
Yeah.
But I'm a J-sker. I mean, I'm from Omaha.
Yeah, sure.
Like I said, I mean, we talked off air about how like I feel like I'm honorary junior J, but I'm a Central Eagle.
Yeah.
Matt Rule loves Penn State the way he gave that roundabout answer.
Of course he does. Yeah.
But he was basically kind of saying everything you said indirectly. Mm-hmm. I'm staying, but we got to figure out some things if we want to win at the high level.
Remember, so obviously he played there, but he also grew up a Penn State fan as a kid. His family was Penn State family. One of his best friends is the athletic director there.
That's crazy.
Right? There's the idea of
I'm bouncing.
Those guys who played for Joe Paterno too. They feel this responsibility to the program.
Yes.
And so there is always the conversation of, if mama calls,
you gotta go home.
You go home.
That's facts.
Now, I've had people say before, don't answer the phone.
Yeah, that's true.
Because mama calling.
Yeah.
But as Doc Holliday said, the idea of Matt Rule leaving, there's the rumor.
Yeah.
And it's out there, and it's going to be out there for the rest of this season.
And to keep it 100, I like the parity behind it because we do need to spend money.
You do.
We need
to
spend the money. Conservative.
Got to be the money.
For the first time in a long time, I am actually saying something I never thought I'd say.
What?
Nebraska's good.
They are.
Nebraska's good.
They are. Remember this.
Nebraska's good.
So they won. They had to come back and win against Michigan State.
Yep.
They had to come back and win against Maryland.
Yep.
They had to come back in 2 games where they easily could have lost it.
Yes.
Right? So I think they are good.
Yes.
Are they very good?
I ain't stretching it. I just said they're good.
Are they great?
No.
They're good. And they're winning games. They have not won in the past.
Yeah.
But
right,
they've got to keep stacking wins.
But we can keep stacking wins. But the thing is, you said this. I forgot how you said it, so I'm paraphrasing it. You're kind of only as good as your talent, no matter how much you put into them.
Yeah.
You get that 30 piece, that 30 million.
Yeah.
You can go invest in who you really want to get.
Some more. Like there were 2 guys this year that they probably really needed another offensive tackle.
Yep.
And there were some guys they got outbid for. They needed another running back.
Yep.
And the kid from Prep, who they said, well, we'll try to get him. And then Miami comes along and they're like, hey, here's all this money. And they got outbid. So in that situation,
I'm mad.
You can't have that happen.
You know why?
Other candidates, though.
Hold on. Before you say that.
Yeah.
I just had some flashback of Nebraska going, not listen to Coach Rule. He going to leave one day.
Well, I mean, one day everybody leaves.
Cool. But before you leave, get all you can get out of them. Maximize your magnum open.
Right.
But I just feel like it's almost like Jerry Jones holding on to his running backs.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about this situation.
Yeah, you have to know when to let him go.
Troy Dannon. I think it's just the people who are boosters of the school.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, we're in one of the smallest population states to have a team like this. There's not a lot of teams like Nebraska with the legacy it has that's in a state this small.
Yeah.
So the more people, you're in Michigan, you've got this giant fan base, you've got a giant alumni, and you got a giant state.
Yeah.
So you can get more money. Pennsylvania's like that. California's like that. Florida's like that. Louisiana's like that.
Right.
Nebraska's not that big.
Fact.
2 million people is what you got, basically.
Damn.
So other candidates, though, I mean, Urban Meyer's name has come up.
I've been waiting on him.
Pat Fitzgerald's name. These are guys who aren't coaching right now. And John Gruden, who's not coaching right now.
No.
I'm just saying his name is out there as well.
Mess it up.
John Gruden is out there as well. But they're all out there for Penn State. And then there's Kurt Cignetti, who's doing a great job at Indiana. Would he want to move to Penn State? He's a Pittsburgh native.
Right.
So he's from the state. Would he want to do that? I don't know.
Respectfully, everybody you name is elite.
That had elite moments for sure.
I think it comes down to culture. And I think that I've been saying this.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer is the guy.
I believe
that somebody should go get.
Question is, does Urban Meyer, with all of the connection he has with Ohio State, does Urban Meyer want to play Penn State every year? He's an Ohio State committed dude, right?
Damn.
Won a national championship there. Does he want to go to a place like Penn State and play them every year? I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope so. As a Penn State fan, I'd love to have him.
So you agree that he's a hell of a coach?
Oh, he's a hell of a coach.
Man.
Where hasn't he won in college?
There you go.
He won at Bowling Green.
Right.
He won at Bowling Green.
Right.
He left Bowling Green.
Right.
He went to Utah, won at Utah, left Utah, won 2 national championships at Florida, and then won a national championship at Ohio State.
Yes.
He wins. That's what he does. He's like Kurt Signetti.
So,
Google me. I win.
We got the right guy with Matt Rule.
I think he can make it.
The thing is, we just got to take a chance and just bet on him.
Yeah, you got to bet.
We already paying coaches and they leaving before they even finish their term.
Yeah.
Take some of this money and give it to this guy.
He's making good money. We got to get more money funneled to the players. So when you need to get him out of the portal, you can. Friday Night Lights. That's, of course, in Minneapolis this week. I do not like having the Friday games because I go to high school games. I want to watch high school games. Right. This week, as we mentioned, it's one of the biggest Fridays, both in Class B and Class A. So that sucks. But the Gophers are 4-2.
Yep.
They had to come back, as I mentioned, in 2 games where they got behind and they had to come back. So they did that. They've lost to Cal and they've lost to Rutgers. Those are the 2 games. No, Cal and Ohio State, they came back and beat Rutgers, and they came back last week and beat Purdue. Since Nebraska entered the Big Ten, that's 2011.
Yep.
They're 5-8 versus Minnesota. 1-5, lost 8, and they've lost 5 in a row. The last time they beat Minnesota at Minnesota was 2015 with Mike Riley's first season.
Watch this. Nebraska going to win.
No, I'm not. And we're going to get to that later. We'll have the keys and we'll have our picks. I will tell you this. This is the last dragon among the Big Ten West. So Wisconsin, right? Iowa, teams that they couldn't beat. The last one, really and truly, is Minnesota.
Man,
so you got to beat Minnesota.
Win this, he should look at the camera and go,
got to beat Minnesota. We'll get to the keys to that game and our picks as well. And the last one, our third headline is basketball this weekend.
Yeah.
Friday night, you got Creighton playing an exhibition.
Basketball.
Playing against the number 16 team, Iowa State. That is 7:30 Friday night at CHI. And if you want to watch it on TV, Nebraska Public Media in the state, it's free. Amen. Now, if it's outside the state, you got to pay like $7.99. But if you're inside the state, you can stream it. Go to the Nebraska Public Media website, and you'll find it there. And Nebraska plays its first exhibition game. That's at noon on Saturday. Number 7 BYU.
I like the Huskers, man.
I hope.
Yeah.
But somebody said this before. I'm just copying. They are always on the bubble. They live on the bubble. They're just going to live on the bubble. They're on the bubble every single year. Yeah. And, of course, they're coming in, BYU, with the number 1 recruit.
I know.
And number 1 player kind of in the country.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how they do. AJ DeBonsa, he's coming in, and I'm looking forward to that. Kevin Young last year was the first year.
They had to pay him something crazy.
Well, BYU's got a huge payroll for basketball.
Right.
Like $10 million.
Damn.
Huge. Whereas Creighton has bought a lot of players, and it's more like 6.5, 7.
6.5,
Just shows you what they got.
Right.
But yeah, so that's gonna be fun. Big weekend of sports overall with exhibition basketball, with Creighton. Got volleyball going on as well, and high school and college football. Let's talk more about high school with our next guest.
Let's lock in.
For this week. He is the head football coach at Creighton Prep. He's Tim Johnk. Joins us next on Let It Fly Show. All right, welcome back to Let It Fly Show. Our guest this week, the head coach of the 7-0 Creighton Prep Junior Jays, Tim Johnk, joining us here on Let It Fly Show, and of course former Husker as well. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Yeah, we just got off the practice field and getting ready for a big game with Westside. So
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, no, it'll be a lot of fun. Our kids are excited, and it's a big game in Class A football. But we've had a great year, and we have tremendous kids and a really great group of guys that just really love each other and want to just win. So
I know the coach speak is every week. Right?
Yeah.
You're 0-0.
Yeah.
But we talked about it before we started, the rivalry, it's Westside. What's the feeling like around the team?
Oh, I mean, we're excited to play. I mean, it is a rivalry game. So, I mean, every game you play, they get excited, but this one kind of ratchets up a little bit in terms of the intensity of it and the focus. And, everybody's been locked in really since since we lifted on Monday mornings before school, and you could really tell the energy was really high that morning already.
Yeah.
So it was, they've been great. It's been fun.
It's awesome.
What's your why? Like, as long as you've been coaching, like, what gets you up to keep going? All right, another season. What keeps you going?
Oh, I just love it. I love being around the kids. I love being around the game of football and athletics. I mean, I was a 3-sport athlete in high school, and I played at the University of Nebraska. And so, I just love making a difference in kids' lives. And hopefully I've been able to do that in the 33 years that I've been doing this. And it always makes me feel good when you see a former player on the street, or you see him. Actually, I saw one as I walked in here.
That's crazy.
I saw one I walked in. I mean, I do this for 33 years.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Dudes, right?
Yeah.
And he's working at First National Bank down the street right here, and he was having dinner, and I hadn't seen him. He was on one of my first teams actually at Prep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, just to see those kids doing well, and I call them all kids, and now
for sure. I respect
and
that.
stuff. Now, but they're to see them doing well and raising families and being great dads and husbands, that to me is that's why I do this.
That's awesome.
Coach Tim Johnk joining us here on the Let It Fly show. Schuyler, Nebraska, correct?
I was from Schuyler, Nebraska.
Okay, so 3-sport athlete. What was Schuyler like? We were about the same age. I think you're a year younger than I am, and I remember what it was like in the 80s. The 80s were a great time, I think, to grow up.
Yeah.
But what was it like in Schuyler, Nebraska?
Well, it's a small town in Nebraska, about an hour west of Omaha. It was a Class B town, so we had 80 some kids out for football, and we had a good team. We won the Class B state championship my senior year in 1986. So we had a great group of guys, but you all grew up together.
No doubt.
Kindergarten, you went all the way
That's
through,
awesome.
and so that's an advantage I think small communities and small towns have. That you don't get necessarily in the metropolitan area. Because those kids grow up together, and they've been talking about and going to football games in their hometown, and that's what we did. And my dad was born and raised in Schuyler, and so we just my dad's was an electrician, and blue collar family, and raised tough in a blue collar community, and I loved growing up in small town Nebraska, and it was really something that I really cherished.
You guys were kind of rare, though, right? You guys were together. The Central people, right?
Where I'm going.
You guys were together.
Yeah. So we had the Schuyler, Nebraska formula, so to speak.
Yeah.
So the teams that I was on, basketball, we were in the same class. So a lot goes to my mind when I see Creighton Prep.
Yeah,
I'm an honorary junior champ.
Yeah.
Man, I got some stories for you. But so going to Jesuit.
Yep.
Father Jim Mahosky.
Yeah.
He wanted me to go to prep, but I stayed with my class. We were the third generation. So 4th grade to senior year, we stayed on the same team.
Got it.
That is how we ended up winning state 3 times. It wasn't just about like the talent. It was a camaraderie, like you're saying.
Absolutely.
And then those guys won state in football and track.
Yeah.
So by my senior year. So that is the formula.
It is. Yeah.
Something I was going to ask you as you're talking about that. For you guys to win state, back then, and now for you to be a coach now going into this rivalry game, who are some of the unsung heroes on your team that makes the motor of Creighton Prep go 7-0?
Well, I have to talk about a couple of seniors. I think Colin Corrigan is a kid that is a senior, starts at fullback and outside linebacker for us, is as good a leader as we have ever had, and he does all the things that that leaders need to do. Sometimes they're not popular, right?
Yeah.
And that's tough for a high school kid to step out in front of guys and tell them that's not the way we do it. We need to do it this way,
especially when it's the best players.
Exactly right. And it's their buddy, right, or something like that. And he's not afraid to do that. The great part about him is that he's a team captain for us, but he got hurt 4 weeks ago, and he'll be playing for the first time in 3 or 4 weeks this Friday night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so he hasn't been on the field.
Yeah.
But we haven't missed a beat because of his presence on the sideline and on our practice field and in our locker room. And that's hard to do when you're 17 or 18 years old, to kind of understand that just because I'm not playing doesn't mean that I'm not continuing to be a leader.
Exactly.
And he understands that. He's a very mature kid, very tough kid. And again, guys really, really look up to him in terms of that, Angelo Walker is a guy that gets a lot of praise in our program.
Yeah, he does.
Because he's going to be a 1,000-yard rusher. He's a 3-year starter for us. He starts at outside linebacker for us. But in terms of the grit and the toughness that our team plays with and has, it comes from that cat right there.
Wow.
Because he is as tough as they come.
Tough as his mama.
South Omaha.
Katie Coco.
I love that. I love her.
Yep.
And I'm telling you,
yep.
he and I have we and I have such a great relationship, which goes back to really almost into 8th grade.
Nice.
And so to see him doing well, and because he's gone through some bumps as a sophomore. I mean, it's tough to play in the Metro as a sophomore. Yeah. And we have a number of these seniors that did that a few years ago. So those two guys have really been the backbone of our team, and guys that just are unbelievable leaders behind the scenes for us.
Yeah, the county attorney's office has had the same county attorney forever. But the person who runs that office
is his mom.
There's nobody that gets past her. Nobody gets past her in any way whatsoever.
Yep.
Also, I've been knowing him since he was a little tight. He's pretty cool. But let's talk about how that lumps when you're a sophomore and when you're a junior, especially for your line, playing those guys so young and now reaching their senior year, and how that's developed.
We have a lot of those guys. I mean, the Ty Ravensborgs, the Tommy Hollingers, the Elijah Honte, the 3 seniors that start for us on the offensive line. Jake Brock, who's a junior on the defensive line, he started as a freshman, so he's got 3 years starting already. Those kids, we were shy in terms of big kids in our last couple of classes. So we had to really say, hey boys, we're going to need to throw you in the fire here. And we knew the recipe wasn't going to be great, but we knew that at some point that was going to return, you know? And so this year our big kids are older. We've got some really good big kids in our sophomore class as well that are contributing on the defensive line. And so those kids taking some lumps, and Coach Bober calls it, varsity scar tissue that they've had to develop over that sophomore junior year, because you just do. And so those kids have played a ton of snaps for us, and have played at a very high level on both offense and defensive lines for 7 weeks. So it's been great.
So let's talk about Westside a little bit. Yeah. I'm not one to shy away from talking about the opponent. It is what it is, man. But what makes Westside good, and how's that motivating you coming up for this game? Everybody's gonna watch. You know that, right?
Oh no, no,
I know. We all
watch. Yeah, no, I mean, it's and we know that, and that's great. And that's what that's what the game. And I tell our guys, you came to Creighton Prep to play in games like this, guys. I mean, really, athletically, this is what you came to prep to play in football games like this. So, Westside's extremely well coached. I mean, really well coached. We have a tremendous staff over there with Paul and Damon, and I mean all the guys over there that Craig Sikora, and all. They're just tremendous, and so they're going to be coached really well. You're not going to be able to trick them. I'm going to tell you that. You're going to have to out-execute them. And, and they have good players. I mean, they have good players everywhere. Tate Jenkins, as good as there is.
Oh, my goodness,
a running back as there is around. And, you got, Braden Warren at quarterback. You got great players on defense. So, I mean, they cause – I mean, you're going to have to really, really play well and play at a high level and match. You're going to have to really match their intensity or exceed it, and that's really what we've talked about all week, is we have to continue to play with great intensity and great toughness, and because they do that, and so we've got to be able to schematically play, within our scheme and do what we do, and if we can do that, we'll have a shot to compete and win.
Creighton Prep head football coach Tim Johnk joining us here on Let It Fly Show. Was there any effort to try to move it to Thursday?
Not that I know of. I was never asked about it, and I know, that would have been between the ADs.
Yeah, that's true.
Doc Schinzel never said anything to me about moving it off of this Friday night.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious because Nebraska plays on Friday night.
Yeah.
Gosh,
walk me through the process of growing up with a name that isn't spelled like it said. How was that for you?
I was called a lot of different
I can imagine.
Jonk, John K, Jonky.
Jonky. I like Jonky. That's pretty cool.
I was called a lot of stuff. I at first, like when I got to college, you go to a college class and they read your roster.
Sure.
And that's really the first place, that you do that. And I corrected him for a little while, and then I said, no.
Forget about it.
That's what Mitch Ballock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's funny.
So tell me this: 33 years, you've seen some talent, you played some games. Give me some notable ones that stood out over your 33 years. The ones that are like, I wish I can get that back.
Oh man, I tell you what, there's a couple of them. There's one that in my eyes that I go back to when I was at Gross Catholic when I was the head coach, and we lost 63-62 in the quarterfinals to Beatrice.
That hurts.
Beatrice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And CJ Zimmer was my fullback then. Played at the University of Nebraska. So you're right. I've coached some really good players.
Yeah.
And that game went back and forth, and it was several overtimes. So it was several overtimes, and it just went back and forth in terms of one team taking the lead, the other taking the lead. And the unfortunate part is our kids, we were undefeated going into that game. Actually, we were 11-0 at that time, and one of the great teams that I coached. I felt so bad for them because we played well enough to win. There was a couple of plays in there that I thought, if we could have gone our way, we could have stretched it out and gone to a two-score lead, that type of thing. But no, neither team could really do that until the end. And they end up getting a 2-point play at the end of the game and winning the game and stuff. So it was one of those heartbreaking losses that you'd love to have back for that group of kids, because I still see them and they still talk about that group. Still talks about that from 2007.
Yeah, right? Do you know if that game was shot? Like, was it videotaped?
I don't know that.
They do a thing on Nebraska Public Media now on Wednesdays with some of the best prep games of all time.
I don't know that.
I remember. That was my senior year in high school.
I'd love to get that. That'd be pretty cool to be able to do that. Yeah. So sometimes though, a loss is this unifying force for a team.
Sure.
We always talk about the 93, 94 Nebraska, right? Same thing. Was that for you guys in the playoffs last year? Because you played a great game. You played against a really good Elkhorn South, right?
Yeah.
You lose that game. How much of that was off-season prep and got you guys pushed to this year?
No question. I think that we played probably one of our best games, if not the best game that we played last year in the playoffs, and fell short. And so those juniors that are seniors now for us, all got together. Really, it was a week after the game, and they basically got together. I didn't tell them to. They did it themselves. And said, hey, here's what we're going to do different. We are not going to do this again. Boom, boom. And they had it all spelled out, typed out, and they gave it to me. And then I go, okay, let's go. Because I knew then at that point that we had a chance to be really, really good.
Yeah.
And so things changed in terms of the weight room, in terms of, and our weight room's been great. But in terms of just how hard we work, right? Just the whole intensity about going at it changed because of their leadership and their willingness to say, you know what, we're not doing this again. We're going to be better. Yeah. And so you're right. I mean, that group kind of took the reins from there on, and kind of it motivated us to kind of be in a position we're in right now.
So talk about some of your assistant coaches.
They have a great staff.
Yeah, I know.
They're loaded.
I know.
Staff is loaded.
So some of the guys that's been with you, some of the newer faces, and it's like when I watch you coach, it's almost like you really are just game managing and making overall decisions because your staff is called.
Great staff.
Watch that type of stuff.
Yeah.
How do you get to that level?
Well, you got to trust those guys.
Sure.
You have to hire guys that you trust a lot.
Right.
So you look at guys that I have on my staff, and I'll start with my coordinators. You look at Brian Munson. Everybody calls him Moose. He and I played together at the University of Nebraska. We were each other's best men in our weddings. Known each other for a long time.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
He went on to college football. When I got into high school football, he was coaching all over the place and all different levels. And then, a few years ago, he got an opportunity, to come back to Omaha. He wasn't sure if he wanted to get back into college football, and I said, hey, if you want a spot, I got a spot over here for you. Yeah. And at that point, he had to renew his teaching certificate, so he taught at Jesuit for a little while.
I know.
Yep. And so
that's cool.
So he's a guy that brings a ton of experience on the defensive side of the ball for us, right?
Yeah.
And our kids are playing lights out on the defensive side, and we need to continue that, right? So he's a great one. We kind of co-coordinate a little bit, passing game and run game coordinator, on in the offense. Nick Sinnott, he was the longest tenured coach with me, because I actually coached him at at Gross.
Wow.
And then he came over and he coached with me at Gross.
Yep.
And then he came over here to Prep. So
That's
he's
awesome.
been with me, I think, 19 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's
They have the sand volleyball place over in Papillion.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Nick's a great dude. He's done a great job. With our passing game and calling plays this year. He's been unbelievable. Chris Bober, who played, in the NFL.
Yeah, I know about Bober.
He coaches our offensive linemen, and so he brings another level of offensive line. And
he low key is a GOAT to me.
He is.
Like high school football GOAT.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to give it to him.
And he's a great teacher, and he's worked with these young, these guys that are seniors now. He's been with them the whole time, and so you're really starting to see the fruit of that, and in terms of that investment with those guys in him. But so he's been awesome. I added Tim Williams this year from Papillion La Vista, and he's coaching our quarterbacks. Doing an unbelievable job with that, and he's helping with some of our offensive schemes and stuff like that. So, we have AJ Rollins, who played at the university and is coaching our tight ends. Right now I got Pete Ewing, who's coaching our D lineman, who was a freshman A coach, our head freshman A coach. He's kind of moving up the ranks. Yeah, but he is a great coach. Really does a great job with our D linemen. Comes from a long line of coaches from Hutchinson, Minnesota, actually, where his dad coached up there. Yep. So he gets it, right, in terms of coaching and the time that it takes. We just have a tremendous group of guys, that Diaz Calbert, who's in the Hall of Fame down at, who played at Prep, is Hall of Fame at Northwest Missouri as a DB down there. Really, really, really proud of our staff and what we've been able to do and put together in terms of this group, because it is a high level group. Speaking
of pride, I believe if Coach Solich was sitting in the stands watching you play, he would appreciate your offense. It's what I doubt smash mouth. I remember the first drive against Central a couple weeks ago. I think you guys had the ball like 8 minutes.
We did.
I know. I was pissed, but
50 yards in 8 minutes. Like, holy
nice 2.5 yards of play. Talk about that. And do you have enough, you think, in your pass game if it gets in a situation where you're going to have to get in a shootout?
Yeah. No, I go back to Coach Solich. Every time I see Coach Solich, and especially Coach Osborne, right? Every time I see him, he goes, "Coach, you still running fullback plays?" I said, "Absolutely,
oh, yes,
Coach.
Yes.
Absolutely, I am."
Yes.
So, those guys are great. I saw Coach Solich at the Holy Name. They dedicated the new auditorium at last fall, and so I was there, got to see him because they honored him because he was there for that year, and stuff. So that was really cool to see him and see those guys. But yeah, we're a run first football team. I mean, we're going to be tough. We're going to be downhill run. We're going to get but we do. And that's an area in terms of passing the football and throwing. We've got 3 kids that are really good at quarterback. Jack Lammers, who's a senior. And we've got Ben Leslie, a sophomore, and Noah Garden, who's a sophomore. And those 2 kids are high-level kids and Ben's gotten some more time here lately and thrown the ball a little bit the last few weeks. So I think we do. We worked on a ton every week in terms of trying to be efficient in the passing game. Yeah. We're not going to throw the ball if we don't have to 35 times a game, right? But if we can control the line of scrimmage and run the football and play action pass and dink and dunk some things and then take some shots because they've loaded up the box. Oh yeah. That's some stuff that we have that we definitely can go to and that we've been able to execute in practice. So, and those are things that we've got to continue to get better at, and we'll continue to work on them and get better at them every day.
Yeah. You guys ran a boot down by the sideline, down by the end zone. It wasn't complete. It's a little off, but the guy was wide open because you faked the handoff and it was naked and there was nobody out there. So you got that ability to, every time you want to, have him pull it because everybody's dedicated to stopping that run.
Yeah, our boot game's good for us. I mean, because we run a lot of outside zone stretch stuff that, and so that's good for us. Our play action game has got to be good for us. But at certain times, you're going to have to be able to go, hey, 3-step, 5-step drop, and be able to hit some balls. So those are things that we work on and work really hard at every day.
Let me tell you about why I'm an honorary. I mean, I think but the reason why I'm an honorary Junior J. So obviously a lot of it comes from me playing at Creighton, but went to Jesuit, Father Jim Mahosky, you know, everyone from Jesuit. We had a shadow week where Creighton Prep comes in. And I mean, this is a time when they had like Nadu Onuku. They had a lot of different basketball guys that was there.
Yeah.
So I meet Coach Lukey finally, and he can attest to this. And so Father Jim Mahosky says, I said, hey, if I come to Prep, I'm not quite sure if I want to go to Central because Rynell Grigsby is really good, and I'm probably not going to play over him.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go to Prep. And Father Jim says, and Coach Lukey didn't even vouch. Father Jim said, well, Josh, one, if you go to Prep, like, it'll probably be better if you probably won't make varsity because I believe that you should be with the freshman class because when the seniors graduate, you'll be left off and have no friends. He didn't know anything about basketball. Brother Wilmot was not there.
No,
at this time. And then secondly, he says, if you're not as good as Kerry Trotter was, which I couldn't wager that.
Who that was?
Right?
Yeah, you know, Kerry was.
Yeah, like his family were like teaching first generation at Jesuit, but his brother Kerry Trotter or Kirk Trotter and things, you know, but like I didn't really know the measure, you know. So I just told Coach Lukey, you know, I think I'm just gonna go to Central, man. Like, I don't think I can play varsity.
They ran you off.
I don't know how good Kerry Trotter was.
Yeah,
I just see his stats.
He's pretty good.
He was really good. All-American. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And I went to Central, man.
Yeah.
So to this day, when I see Coach Lukey, we kind of joke about it.
Sure.
But after I retired from basketball, Creighton Prep, when the new student section was brought in with the beautiful new gym. I actually had a dunk at the Christmas in the Cage.
Did you?
Oh my God!
How crazy is that?
Right.
Night.
And like
that place is nuts.
And then just a lot of the network people who believe in me, like Trent Bausch, Klein Williams. I can name so many different Creighton Prep Junior J alum that just embraced me, like from Jesuit.
Right.
You know. And so I always feel like I'm at home when I'm at Creighton Prep, and everyone always treats me like I graduated from there.
Yeah,
so that's why I appreciate it when you walked in.
That's a wonderful story. My wife went to Bryan. She hates Prep. I'll balance that out a little bit. I'll balance that out a little bit. For me. It's a little bit. I'll balance that out. Let me ask you a little bit about when you came out of high school. Did any thought of going anywhere else besides walking on in Nebraska?
I visited several places, both Kansas schools, Wyoming, Iowa State.
Wow.
Those the bordering states, really. And so I mean I took visits to all those places, but you know I was born and raised in the state of Nebraska.
Sure.
All I wanted to do was be a Cornhusker.
Right.
And
the way they were playing at that time,
exactly,
undeniable.
Right? So I mean, they were winning 8, 9, 10 games.
Yes.
So it was a program that I wanted to really kind of go to if I had a chance to. I walked on my first year, and then I earned a scholarship. So and then redshirted my sophomore year. Or my second year, and then earned a scholarship that spring. So I was on scholarship for three years.
Wow,
that. So which again is it's a tough road to take, and there's no guarantees on the end of that road, right? And so the walk-on program obviously was something that I obviously was able to take advantage of and be a part of, and as a lot of guys had over the years, and so those are the only places that I really looked at. Some lower level places, obviously I could have gone there. Coach Buddha came and sat in my living room, and he reminds me of that quite a bit.
I bet he does. He didn't forget anything.
Still, And, I wouldn't change going down to the University of Nebraska for anything. It's such a great experience. Played with great guys, played for great coaches, played for a great university. Won a lot of football games. And
you're always in that fraternity, right?
Always.
I mean, same thing with Creighton. It's great. You guys are in a fraternity that never goes away.
That's true.
You're just adding people to it.
So I was at the Michigan State game the other day, and I had a sideline pass.
Yeah.
And so we get a couple sideline passes, and stuff. Yeah. So I was down there, and the guys you run into that you've gotten to know over the years, from some of the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s. Right? And so, I see CJ Zimmer and his clan down there, guys I coached, right? That are part of the program. So just to have those guys to be able to, look at and say, you know what, we all went through this grind, for 4 or 5 years, long time ago, but we're sure proud of doing it.
But you're still now you're in the prep mafia.
Yeah.
Well, right? Everybody, hey, look, my neighborhood is filled. I'm down the street from Holy Cross, and everybody in that neighborhood either went to prep or their kids going to prep. It is the prep mafia in that neighborhood.
It's fantastic. I mean, you go anywhere. And again, I always tell people this. I was out in Arizona, for spring break or something a couple years ago or whatever, and I had a Creighton Prep hat, and I'm walking through the airport.
Yep,
that's funny.
Hey, go Prep!
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Like, it happens everywhere.
That's crazy. Yeah,
I know.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
so
that's nuts.
They are everywhere.
Yeah. What kind of contact, because there's always been a debate since I've been, covering this stuff about how Nebraska kind of recruits the Omaha area, the metro area. How has it been for you guys with this new coaching staff, and how they've been coming in, checking you out? What's going on?
Yeah, no, they've been great. I mean, Matt and his staff have opened up their facility for us. Whenever we want to go down there, we go. We've taken our team down there for team camp in the summer the last 4 or 5 years.
That's nice.
Oh, wow.
Even before Matt got down there. So for them to do that and then come into our building and recruit our guys, Sam Sledge is down there playing right now.
Yep.
We have another walk-on lineman, Jacob Brandel, who was a starter for us 3 years ago on our semifinal team at center. He's a walk-on down there on the line. But it's at one point, we had 5, a year and a half ago, we had 5 guys down.
I know.
There.
I know.
We had Rollins, we had both Bullocks, and John Bullock now playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's pretty awesome.
He's my first NFL guy ever.
Yeah. So I got
cool.
some things going, and his Steve is on one of my boards.
Nice.
So we were fingers crossed because he was showing us how scary it is in NFL. They'll cut you.
They'll cut you quickly. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? That first time I saw John's neck after his sophomore year, I said, that kid's an NFL player. I said, that's an NFL player right there.
John was as good an open field tackler as I've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
His senior year, we played at Elkhorn South. He had 22 tackles. Now, understand this.
Video game,
he played outside linebacker to the wide side of the field.
He was getting
they could run away from him.
Sure, right.
And he had 22 tackles that night.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Last thing for me is, so you take over at Prep. What made you understand that was the right job for you and your family? Because it's a big job, obviously.
Yeah.
That is true.
What made it right for you?
I've been in Catholic schools, for a long time.
Yep.
I was at Gross for a long time. I'm a Catholic guy. I mean, not that that's the end all be all,
No,
right?
for sure.
But to have the opportunity, to be able to go to a place as traditional as Prep is, academically, just the institution itself,
Sure.
right? Okay, to be able to to then lead, a very historic football program. I said, you know what? If I pass this up, I think a lot of people look at me square and say,
Right.
"You're stupid."
Crazy.
Yeah.
We're
Right?
scared.
So,
Yeah.
so there was, I had interviewed for that job several different times, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The 2 years prior to, after Coach, the Coach Nizzi situation and all that, and they hired Andy Yost. It came down to Andy and I in terms of that. And then he got out of high school football after 2 years later, and I reapplied then. But I'd gone back. There was probably a time in, I can't remember the year, but John Natz, who is the old principal, who's actually doing some interim stuff at Prep right now. He was the principal at Prep. He interviewed me for a job in probably 92. It was and so I had applied a long time ago for it as well. So I always felt, if and I knew a lot of Prep guys from playing at the university because there was a lot of guys down there playing at that time when I was there, and you just know that that's one of the traditional programs in the state, and if you get an opportunity to do it, you know what, let's go do it and let's roll.
John's son Joe is right down the street from me.
Yeah,
he lives right up the hill.
Is that right?
Yeah, the county attorney. But he is now still at the county attorney's office. Yeah, but like I said, I live in a Creighton Prep neighborhood. Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck on Friday night.
Wait, man.
It's going to be an amazing atmosphere. Yeah. There's a lot going on that night, man. There's so much going on, but I know a lot of people are going to be there for that game.
Why again did they? Is it a TV contract thing?
Yeah, Fox has a deal where
high school
where they do. I know it's
Big Ten is there's a lot of high school
doesn't
guys
make sense
that don't really agree with it because Friday nights are supposed to be for high school football.
Exactly. That's right.
It's unfortunate, but they've thrown some games on, and unfortunately, Nebraska's playing one of those Friday night. Same time we are. There's a lot of great high school football matchups this Friday across the board. Really, Class B's got a ton of them in town, and so there's a lot of really, really high level football games going on in the city this Friday night.
And folks will be out there, no doubt about that.
Yeah,
Coach, we appreciate it, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, thanks to Coach Johnk for coming on with us. That was cool. I will admit, as a kid, went to Christian Brothers High School and a Christian Brothers Elementary School. Not a big fan of the Jesuits. I have said this many times. My wife, who went to Omaha Public School, really hates Creighton Prep. It's hilarious how much he does. It makes me laugh, actually. But I've always liked Coach Johnk.
Yeah, good dude. Good dude.
I liked Coach Lukey when he was there. I've always liked a lot of their coaches.
Yeah.
And as I said during the interview, Angelo Walker,
yeah,
son of Katie Coco, who was always very nice to me when she was working there. Good South Omaha family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wish them all the luck in the world. I'm kind of torn, obviously Westside.
I know.
That's where Damon Benning is, obviously. He's going to actually be in Minneapolis.
No,
so he won't be there. It's going to be tough for him for that game as well. He got a job to do, exactly. But we thank him for coming on.
Yep.
All right, let's get to our keys of the game.
Yep.
Our keys.
I know, man. Let's hear
the first one.
Okay.
We got a young man.
Yep.
From Barnwell, South Carolina. You may know his nickname. The hardest working man in show business. The godfather of soul.
James Brown.
James Brown once wrote a song that had one of the greatest lines in the history of music.
Let me guess. It's a man's world.
He said, I may not know karate, but I know crazy.
Crazy, yeah, right.
And he said that in the Big Payback.
Yep.
The Get Back. The Big Payback.
Yeah.
The Big Payback.
I still like that song.
Today, key, Emit Johnson.
Gotcha.
Emit Johnson's from Minneapolis. He was not recruited by Minnesota. He wanted to go to Minnesota. They did not offer him. Get the ball to Emit Johnson. Emit had his best game last week of his career.
No
Longest run, most yards.
Right.
Big game. He's going on the road at a place that he's got revenge on his mind.
Yeah.
Some payback. Right. A little get back. Get the ball to my man, Emit Johnson. Let Emit cook.
Man's world.
Number one, let Emit cook. That's a good song, though.
I like that.
It's a very good song.
Let him cook.
What is the best MC Hammer song? Key number two.
So, is it just obviously can't touch this?
Nope.
Oh, okay. What the next one is? You know what? I can hold on. Give me a second. No, go ahead.
Let's get it started.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get it started.
Yeah,
is in my opinion the best one. I mean, he's got some great songs.
He do,
but I love Let's Get It Started, and that's our number two key.
Yeah,
you're talking about a team in Minnesota that's trailed the last 4 games they played after the first quarter.
I thought I was gonna say too legit to quit. I couldn't think of that.
Too legit to quit.
Yeah.
So they are slow starters.
Yeah.
Right? They've been slow starters.
Yeah.
Against Cal, they were down 7. Against Rutgers, down 7. Against Ohio State, down 7-3. Against Purdue, down 7. And down at halftime.
Yep.
Nebraska has been a fast starter. Nebraska is averaging 20 points in the first half this year.
Nice.
And they're averaging only 9.
Yeah.
Get it started early and quick. Jump on them.
It's so cool to watch the Huskers now because they be getting these big plays.
Yeah.
I love watching the games, man.
Big plays are fun. Explosive plays are fun.
Yeah.
Knocking somebody on their ass is fun.
Right.
Getting a big lead. So Rutgers had a chance to expand the lead and didn't. Purdue could have had 24 points in the first half, but threw an interception at the goal line, had a fumble, couldn't do it. Nebraska, take advantage of their slow starts. You get off to a good start. Let's get it started.
Yep.
And then the third key,
I can't even guess.
I love you.
Barney?
You love me. Yes, Ja'Cory Barney.
Okay.
Ja'Cory Barney. Nebraska is the number 2 team in all of college football in kick and punt return efficiency.
That's cool, bro.
Minnesota is 126th.
So we got their number.
126, second.
Right.
126, second.
2. Right.
Almost the best, almost the worst.
Right.
Ja'Cory Barney taking it back to the house. Need a big play in special teams. By the way, Minnesota's also not good in kick return efficiency either.
Yeah.
So get a big return. Last week we told you kick return, long kick return, and it happened. Kenneth Williams.
Where's this game at?
At Minneapolis.
That's what I thought.
It's on the road.
Yep.
They were on the road last week. Now, I will tell you, and I've said this a lot during the offseason, the last time Nebraska, back-to-back games on the road, and they won them, you got to go all the way back to 2006.
I know.
It's been a while.
I'm up there thinking.
This is maybe the time to do it. And again, third key, get it started. Let's get the ball to Barney. Let's take advantage of Emit Johnson's revenge for the state of Minnesota and the college Minnesota, all that Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
All right, do that. All right, score time. Nebraska is anywhere from a 7.5 point favorite to a 9.5 point favorite.
Right.
It's been kind of bouncing around. It started off at 5.5. It went all the way to 9.5. Now it's back to 7.5. What do you think?
Uh, 21-14.
21-14.
Nebraska.
Okay, I'm waiting for you.
Sorry.
Because sometimes you're a hater. I don't know. I have, so everything I know about the numbers tells me that Nebraska should blow them out. Everything I know about the analytics says Nebraska should walk away with this.
Yeah.
I do know, however, that my good friend, PJ Fleck, is a dog. And no matter what you do,
right,
you cannot stop this man. For whatever reason, he keeps his team in the game. Rowed a boat, ski you ma, what all that junk is.
Yeah.
And so I'm worried about that. But screw it.
Right.
Nebraska by 14, 34-20.
Respect.
34-20.
Respect.
Because that's what my numbers say.
Yeah.
Although I know,
no doubt,
that PJ Fleck's a dog.
Well, let me flip it. Let me flip it.
Are you flipping the script?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 27.
27.
27. 14.
27-14. Because that's 13 points. Right, close to mine. What low scoring.
27-14.
But it's around the number is for the over and under. So anyway, yeah, we both have Nebraska winning it. Yep. If that happens, Nebraska will start 6-1.
So are they good, or they just
the last time they were 6-1? You got to go way back to 2016.
Yeah. So they good.
And they went off to Wisconsin on the road and they ended up losing.
For sure. Even if they lose this game, they still nice. They still nice.
If they lose this game,
they still nice.
It would be the 6th straight time they lost to Minnesota. They would have never beaten PJ Fleck.
Right.
And they will not be able to get that albatross that is Minnesota from around their neck.
I just think this is bigger than
gotta win this
because of who Coach Rule is.
You got to win this.
I'm going to be honest.
Got to win it. Got to win it.
I know it's like the separation of a red state, blue state, but Coach Rule is what Coach Mack is. I think Coach Rule is such a good coach that he's just going to get it done.
Okay. I hope he does.
I believe in Coach Rule.
Special thanks to Coach Tim Johnk for coming on, talking some Creighton Prep. That was fun. Caleb for producing the show. Stable Gray for putting everything together. Mike Allen as well to be a part of this. Thank you to all of them.
Thank you.
Also, our presenting sponsor, Bud Light. They are making it
easy
to enjoy, easy to drink, no matter what you're doing, no matter what sporting event you're watching this weekend.
Yep.
Easy to enjoy, easy to drink. And I also want to remind you, subscribe and like.
Yep.
Whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you are, subscribe and like. It helps the podcast.
So you're going to be flipping through the game?
So I'll be at the game on Friday night.
Gotcha.
I'm going to Minneapolis. I'll be in the press box Saturday. Now, first, I'm going to go to the funeral first at 11 o'clock on Saturday. But after that, I'll be home flipping through games.
Yes, sir.
It'll be awesome. So we appreciate
Let's
you.
go, Jay.
Josh, take us away.
Hey, Josh Jones here with Michael Severe. You know how we do it. It's a Let It Fly show.